What's good, everybody? It's your boy the Kryptonian saying here, getting ready to bring you a review for One Piece chapter 132. Gotta say, I like Vivi. I like Vivi because some of the gripes I had about Luffy as a captain, she addressed them in this chapter. So I'm gonna start particularly at that moment, and then I'm gonna kind of work my way back from that point on, because I felt like for Luffy's character development, this was huge. It was quintessential. We needed this to happen. So basically, when they arrive at this island that is made out of snow and ice, and there's even a waterfall of melting ice, okay? When they get there, the villagers say, "We don't want pirates here. Your ass has to go." And when that happened, I'm like, damn, okay. Just take it for what it's worth. I didn't really see that coming. I thought this was going to be another uninhabited island like we found Dory and Brogy on. So I thought it was going to be something like that. So this was really nice to see that there are other islands besides the Whiskey Peak Island that have people on them, you know, on the Grand Line. So that was kind of nice to see. But when they get there, the people, they're dead serious. Like Luffy and them, they don't want to leave. And Luffy puts his foot in his mouth, okay? And the guys end up taking the guns, they're aiming, they're getting ready to shoot, and Vivi steps in and takes the bullet. And she says, "Oh, it's just a flesh wound." And, well, she says it's just a scratch, which I took to be more of a flesh wound. And I thought it was interesting that this happened in this chapter. I'm going to take off for a second, because in the little section beforehand, you have like the interviews with Oda, and he's talking about the censorship in One Piece, and he says, the question is, "I was watching the One Piece anime the other day, the adaptation volume 7 chapter 57, If You Have a Dream, where Zeph loses his leg. It said that Zeph lost his leg in a shipwreck. That changed for the sake of little kids who watch the show?" Oda says, "Exactly. An episode titled Eat Your Own Leg might be too much for small children. Television audiences can number in the millions, and special precautions have to be taken. Kudos to the animators who create such wonderful works while being careful about things like that. If you want to show them your appreciation, then okay, fuck that shit." So the reason why I'm pointing that out is this is Oda's work in the manga, and it kind of feels like this was censored a little bit. You know, I don't know if this was Viz's stuff, because I'm really wondering if Vivi wasn't a little more seriously injured than just a flesh wound, because the guy basically offers to take them to go see the doctor who they warn Luffy is a witch. And so I just want to make that connection real quick. Now I'm going to get back to what I was trying to get to in the beginning. I like how Vivi took the bullet, and then after the fact she tells Luffy, "You are a failure as a captain. Your impulsiveness is going to get us all killed." I love that line when she's saying that, and the reason why I love it is, again, when you're in a leadership position, every decision you make not only affects you, but it affects the people around you. It also affects people who are just watching, who have nothing to do with what's happening, with whatever's going on with you and your crew or your subordinates or whatever. So I like that, because Vivi hasn't been around much, but she's imparting wisdom into him. And if we didn't have somebody like Zoro and Sanji, who was already on Luffy's crew, I would like to see Vivi join, because I really feel like Luffy, that's what Luffy's missing, is someone who can kind of guide and mentor him. I really feel like that's what Luffy needs at this point. You know, like, I think he looks at Sanji and Zoro as brothers, and he takes what they say into consideration, but I don't think Luffy has that one person who can just knock his ass upside the head. Well, correction, he's got Sanji. Sanji knocked his ass earlier too. I thought that was pretty funny, but the thing is I don't think Luffy quite has that just yet. Like I said, like I think that he has it in bits and pieces with Nami. So I'm looking for the page, but with Nami and definitely Sanji. Oh, I guess the whole crew can be seen as people who are kind of giving Luffy a little bit of expertise in their own kind of way. And I guess that's what makes the Straw Hat crew so damn good, is that they are able to assist their captain in little bits and pieces. At the end of the day, Luffy, he's got great instincts, really great instincts, but sometimes he makes boneheaded ass decisions. So, just to backtrack and go, through the chapter and touch on the points I feel like are the most important points, I like the cover page because you got Morgan and you got Django, and they pass each other, and basically both of them are asleep on their ships. And I was really wondering, and I'm thinking I'm going to make a video on that when I'm I'm further ahead in One Piece. And what I'm talking about is, what if Django and Morgan, they saw each other when they're crossing paths? I think that'd be very interesting because both of them have some pretty interesting abilities. And particularly when you look at them in combat situations, I think both of them, I think that would be a great fight. And before I even start thinking about theories and, the what if possibilities on that, let me know in the comment section below, is there ever a point in the series where these two actually mix it up? And if so, just my curiosity, let me know who wins. And if that hasn't happened, this will be my chapter question for you. Who do you guys think will win in a battle between Django and Morgan? Let me know in the comment section. So, with that being said, basically, Luffy, oh man, when I say he's checked out, man. Like, it is 14 degrees outside. Because he's made out of rubber, I would think that he would be more aware of the temperature. But basically, Luffy's like, oh, it's 14 degrees, and he's out there, regular outfit, everything. Everybody's all bundled up. And it's only until they tell him that it's cold, he says, wow, it's cold. And it's just like, Luffy, yo, you're a freaking idiot. I'm not going to say a fucking idiot. You're a freaking idiot. I'm going to save the fucking idiot thing for when he does something even more outlandish. But the thing is, Luffy, the reason why I say a freaking idiot is, in his mind, the stuff that he's saying, there is some logic behind it. But when you apply certain real world possibilities to it, there's no way in hell that some of his suggestions will work. Particularly in the case with Nami, when it's that cold outside and she's got that fever, I don't think you would want to drop all that water on Nami when she's got that fever. I think it was 104, 105 degrees or something like that. You don't want to drop ice cold water on her, because Luffy's thinking, well, the water's really cold, she's really hot, surely that will bring her temperature down. And at face value, yes, Luffy, that would make her colder. But because it's really cold outside and there's wind, you're going to fuck around and give her pneumonia. And I think that's why Vivi and Sanji just knocked the fuck out of Luffy. But speaking of Sanji, this was the thing. When he was talking about Captain Wapul, it's the Munch Munch guy. When he was talking about him, what really struck me is this. We have this instance where, hold on. Okay, I think this is it. Yeah, right here. We have this instance where Sanji is telling Usopp, hey, they're just a bunch of idiots, nothing to worry about. But look at that expression on his face. I don't think that he trusts that himself. Like, that's like the thing that's kind of getting me. Like, I was thinking the same thing. Like, Luffy one-shotted this dude. There's no way in hell. I don't care if he's got a fucking devil fruit. And I know you guys told me that devil fruits aren't like Super Saiyan. So, yeah, that's good to know. But the thing is I was thinking, okay, one-shotted, no problem. And yet, Sanji, like I said, it's that facial expression, man. Like, I keep going back to it. Like, every time I think about this chapter, I read the chapter twice if I did this review. And when I think about it, it's just like, he's got to be popping back up. And if that's the case, I don't know how I feel about that, because on one hand, I know that from what Oda said and what from you guys have said in the comment section, the Grand Line is littered with guys with devil fruits. And it comes down to how creative you are with your devil fruit ability. But we just got out of a battle with the devil fruit user. I don't know how I feel about that one, man. Like, I guess that's gonna have to take it for what it's worth, because maybe Oda's gonna do something fucking crazy where it's like an eating contest or something, and both of them are. That was a bad joke. I'm gonna edit that shit out. Okay, so moving on. The other thing that I thought was really interesting was how Vivi kind of breaks down the Grand Line's weather for us. And she says, climatically, the islands of the Grand Line can be divided into four types: summer islands, spring islands, autumn islands, winter islands. And each of these islands generally has 4 seasons. In other words, when you sail the Grand Line, at the very least, you will have to endure 16 seasons. Side note, that is fucking crazy. Beginning with summer on Summer Island and ending with winter on Winter Island. And right here, you see how everything's just kind of broken down. I really thought that this was really good. Like, this is the type of world building that I think is really good in Oda's case, because too often we see people, particularly this motherfucker back here, Kishimoto. I'm gonna harp on him because I read Naruto for a long ass time. And it's just, when you think about how underdeveloped all the 5 nations are, it's fucking crazy. It pisses me off. And we are, what, 133, 34 chapters? We're 132 chapters into One Piece. And Oda's already done a better job world building than Kishimoto did in 700 chapters with Naruto, 2 canon movies, and a fucking Gaiden, and God knows how many canon novels. I think it was 5 canon novels, 7 if you count the Itachi novels. Oda's done more in the world building aspect than Kishimoto's been able to do. It's just like Kishi should have came up with Kishi should have wrote Naruto, and then Oda should have wrote Naruto, and then Kishi should have just drawn the fucking designs. That's how I'm really feeling at this point. But I thought that was really cool, because the type of world building Oda is doing in One Piece is really hard to establish, and yet he sprinkled it in. I really feel from the moment that Sanji was introduced up until now, he's just been putting in layer after layer after layer. And it's something that I think I told you guys before. It's something that one of my mentors told me. They said, when you write a scene, when you say you want to describe, say, this bookshelf, right? Like, instead of, I'm doing it so I can look at the bookshelf with you guys. So I'm stepping out the camera for a second. But instead of saying it's a brown bookshelf with anime figures all over the case, you basically start off with the bookshelf. And you might want to describe like the height of it, and then as the scene progresses, you add more and more detail to it. And that's what Oda's done with his writing. And that's what I really appreciate about this part in One Piece, is he's not forcing it all down our throat. So really nice props to Oda on that. But overall, I said this was a pretty good chapter. I like the humility that came with Luffy kind of having to bow his head and get taken down there to, get taken down to see the witch doctor. So this is pretty cool. So I'm guessing the witch doctor is going to be the next member of Luffy's crew. But overall, like I said, pretty good chapter. If you liked anything I had to say, as always, comment, rate, subscribe, share. I'll greatly appreciate it. That's it. Thanks for watching Crypto.